Hello. How are you today, Tamara? So nice to have you here with me. Let me unmute you. Okay, there we go. Okay. How are you today, Tamara?
I'm great. How are you, Anna?
Fine. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm very happy. This is probably a day we have been waiting for a long time, at least me, having you here,
Yes.
having a lot of people sharing this with you and with everybody that's going to listen to us. So first of all, I really want to thank Tamara for being here. And let me tell you who she is. Of course, she's a friend of mine now. I believe she's a sister. She's a friend of mine. But let me tell you a little bit about her before we start. So she's Tamara Caulder Richardson. She has had 6 near-death experiences and a multiple spiritual transformative experiencer. She saw Christ in the flesh in July 2017. She also believes that her 6 near-death experiences have enhanced her ability to see into hidden realms. And she's trained for 8 years in the British style Evidential mediumship with international TV mediums and authors. She currently does medium stage shows for women experts. She's also a president of IANDS Charlotte, a ISGO facilitator, and on the Spiritual Awakening International that we share, and in the advisory board, marketing, chair, and speaker for both. Tamara is also an ordained Christian minister and a developed follower of Jesus Christ. Tamara is the host of a very popular YouTube channel, which is Seeking Heaven, the Near Death Experience, and Other Phenomena. We're going to be talking about all this. There's many more things that I know you want to share with us. But first of all, Tamara, I would love for you to tell us, how did we meet? How was I so blessed as having you here today? So it was wonderful the way we met, but just you want to tell us about it? That would be wonderful.
I believe that when we first met, it's so, God's got this wonderful plan. It all seems like one big coincidence, but it's not. We were, you were doing the Hispanic panel, and you had Ingrid Hankana and Francisco Valentin, and we were on there on my SAI, Spiritual Awakenings International. I was doing the speaker spotlight, and you were on there along with there were a couple other people that were there, and we were talking about this new part of the conference, of the Spiritual Awakening Conference, and you were going to have an Hispanic panel, and we were promoting a little commercial on my Seeking Heaven YouTube channel. And that's how we met. And you were so gracious and so kind. Everybody was so kind. Everybody was so nice. And I've had Ingrid on the show before. And I said, well, hey, why don't you come on my show, the Seeking Heaven channel, which you did 2 amazing episodes, and the speaker spotlight. So if someone wants to see, you've got 3 episodes on my Seeking Heaven channel, and they were really fantastic. But scheduling you had some health issues with your heart. You weren't sure. We were trying to schedule it, and you had to move it. I said, it's okay. It's no big deal. I'm just trying to fit you in. And then in between them, we got to talking, and we became friends because we were going back and forth. And then I think at one point it just sort of came out. I love when people's authentic self comes out. And you came out and you said, it was in a WhatsApp, the WhatsApp app.
Yes,
And
that's right.
you said, I got to have this surgery in the heart. I don't know if I should have it. I'm so sick of surgeries. And you said, I'm very concerned. And I could feel it. And I was like, so I began asking Jesus. I was very concerned. I had an instant love for you. Like I instantly felt at that moment like we were sisters. It's kind of strange. And then I asked him, and he just started giving me information about you. And he said, oh, she's going to be fine. There's this short doctor. He's young. He's very smart. I'm doing the surgery with him. There's a new technique. And he said, this will be her last surgery. I'm going to heal her whole, and she's going to be very well known. she's going to be speaking a lot about the near-death community. And so I'm talking to Jesus. I'm like in my head, right? And I'm going, really? Like what? And she goes, oh, she's going to do so much. She's going to really come out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh boy, should I tell you this? You're going to think I'm crazy, El Loco. And I told you, and you didn't think I was crazy.
I don't.
And that's kind of how we started.
Yeah,
What
that's
now?
precisely what I want to share with everybody, that you have made not only a big difference in the way I see myself, but in the way, yes, because I found out things about me that I had never thought about. For example, I believe that I've had several near-death experiences, and one of them was when I was a child.
Yes.
And I just, all of this is like the Bible says, you couldn't see before and now you see. That's what has been happening with me. But before we go into all of that, tell us, Tamara, how did all of this start with you? How was it for you? When did you start noticing that, because your awakening is so big, you're doing wonderful things, not only for me or for many that we know you, but for everybody around. And I know you have a very special gift. How did this start with you? Tell us a little bit about you. I would love to hear about that.
Well, thank you for asking. I want to thank you first for having me on your show. I am so very honored and so proud of you stepping out and to see all these great things that's going to happen with you. And I'm very excited for you. So I feel very humbled to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did this start? Well, I wasn't normal from the very beginning. I have had 6 near-death experiences, and I don't believe you have to be open through a near-death experience. You can do that through prayer or meditation or have a spiritual experience, like what? I don't know, see an angel, or I don't know, whatever that might be. But for me, my first near-death experience, which I did not know was one, kind of like you're starting to realize, wow, I think I had a lot of them. I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think so. And you think, why does that matter? Well, first of all, people that have had multiple near-death experiences, I have found, are different than someone who just has 1 or 2. They're a lot more open. They're a lot more intuitive. They're more in I find that their mantra is "Thy will be done." They're more of humbled service. Not that anyone's perfect; they're not. But for me, I have, especially later in life, and people don't understand, these things come out in layers of an onion. So, as you know, they're still coming out for you. They're coming out for me. The depth of all this. But I had a prenatal. And I recall I was actually running at a past life session and this popped up. I'm like, what is this thing? And then I started having full memory, but I remember not being able to make it and my being over my mom's body, and she was hemorrhaging and I almost didn't make it. And she never, she wasn't giving birth. This was like she, was going to lose me. And I didn't really have any emotion except for I was concerned for her because she was very young and confused. So I remember things that were being said. I remember looking at different viewpoints. At the time, my mom lived with my grandmother. She was very young when she had me, and my grandfather. And so then the next one, and I didn't even know that was a prenatal. I didn't know what that was. But with PMH Atwater's book, I found out it's actually an NDE. And then it was really, so I never really was normal from the beginning. And then when I was 3, I was playing with a cousin of mine, and there was an old, it was very nicely decorated inside, but it was an older Victorian type home. And we were playing hide and seek, and we're 3 years old, and we're squealing, running around like kids do. And I'm bouncing around. I bounced everywhere. And my head, I was under a dresser, and it hit the top of my head. And there was I don't know why. Okay. I have no idea what was there, but it was a nail under the dresser, and the nail head went through my skull and pierced my skull. I did not know that at the time. I was jumping really hard. And so I passed out and I saw everything from above from my body. I saw all these beings of light come into the room. I think what I feel like they were relatives and people I knew, but I didn't know, because honestly, I didn't know that many people back then. I was very young. And then as I saw my body on the floor, I could see everything that went on. And then to me, it appeared as an angel. Okay. So did it have fluffy wings? It was how it looked to me. It was about 9 feet tall, very powerful, all loving. And it might have been you could have said the shape of a wing, but it was more all white and the colors that came from it. And it had its hands over my head. And then I heard it was like all impermeating voice that said, "This is not your time. You have much to do." That to me was God, whatever you think God is. And you're like, how do you know? Well, when it happened, I knew. It's like something you just know inside of you, like you don't question. I mean, seriously, it was one of those things, like I knew it was God. And then all the beings started leaving. And then my grandmother, she eventually showed up. She took me to one of her doctors, her internist. This is back in the day. I went in the special entrance because she knew a lot of people. And he said, you need to watch her. She has a contusion, all these different things. And so for literally 2 years, I had a hole in my head, because you cannot, with a skull, you'll have to let it grow back naturally. And so I began seeing spirit people then. And I would see.
So you were, how old were you?
3. And so I was
3 years
talking to them.
And you remember everything in that moment.
Yeah. And they seem like, here's the thing. And I just want to clear this up. People said, isn't it scary? No, because you're a spirit being too. You're a spirit being. I'm a spirit being. Look, these were people initially I knew, like relatives, my uncle, that had, I didn't understand when people said they died. I didn't know what that meant. I was very young, but I would see people I would know, or the people I didn't know. They were very friendly, and they would come in and talk to me a lot at night. And they were just like you and I, and they would, hi. And they would talk to us. They would talk to me just like they would talk, like we're talking. And so then it was 4, 3, 4, and 5 were not good years. At 4 years old, my mom, we were in a small town, Hickory, North Carolina, in the USA, near the foothills of the mountain. There wasn't a lot going on there. My mom was very attractive, long blonde hair. She was very bored. She had a young daughter, me, and she wanted to get married, and she didn't want to be under the domain of her mom and dad. And my grandmother was always very close to my grandmother, but she was very dominant matriarch. She was. It was her way or the highway. She had her own business. She was a very strong female. So my mom wanted to be on her own. So she was dating this guy, very flashy, very fashionable, all of this. And it was the best thing going on in Hickory, North Carolina. So she wanted me to meet him. And we went out. It was icy and snowy, and my grandmother didn't want us to go, but we planned a day date. So I got to meet him. I did not like him the first time I met him, which is unlike, kids like everybody. But I thought he was, well, now the words I would say, I thought he was a player. I thought he was full of himself. He was nice looking. He was very, machimo and all this. I was like, oh boy. So we went out to eat a pizza, I remember, and then ice cream. And then we went back. He worked at a radio station. He was a disc jockey. And they got into an argument. He said, oh, I could pick out some, records and so forth I wanted. They got an argument. She wanted to get married. He wanted to wait. So when we got back in the car, he stormed off, and he basically caused the accident, and the car spun around. He hit the brakes, and it was ice everywhere. And we ran into a tree, and then we got, it was lodged in on the driver's side, but I went up through the windshield. And when I hit it, the minute the impact, honestly, I did not feel any pain. I did not even know what happened. All I know is I never lost my awareness, but my awareness shifted, and it was very instant. And I was in a very dark place. It was the blackest black. And I was very confused because I didn't know where I was. And then I got more confused because I couldn't find my body. Very confusing.
Okay.
And then I started getting the sense of a tunnel. I don't think it's a tunnel. It's probably some kind of portal, but I got the sense it was a tunnel, and I saw a little bit of light, and what came closer was Jesus, and Jesus was coming toward me. His hair was blowing back, and he had in his hands, he had the holes in his hands, and he's coming toward me, and his hair is blowing. And I felt there were relatives behind him. I didn't know them, but yet I knew there were relatives maybe from the past, even though I did not know them in that life, but yet I knew it. And he told me that I had to go back. And then I realized that, wow, it's Jesus. I kind of want to be with him. And my grandmother had told me about him. She was very spiritual, very involved with the Presbyterian church. But I would say spiritual, not just religious. She was spiritual, very spiritual. And I wanted to be with him. And I told him, I can't go back. This is difficult. And he said, you can and you will. He was very serious. And then he goes, but I'll always be with you. And then I'm back. And as I'm coming back, I'm in between worlds, and I'm looking, it looks like a rip in time. And there, again, it's that same angel. And I knew that angel as Uriel. I never knew later on it was an archangel, kind of like you didn't know yours was Raphael. So yeah, we work with, don't we? Woo, we got a good team, don't we? But I didn't know that Uriel, and I never really told people what she looked like. I know it's not a she or he, but she, I would identify as she.
Yeah, okay.
Because it sounds scary, but it wasn't scary. But she was orange and yellow and brilliant, and you could see this orange funnel. And I actually saw it, and David Ditchfield, his artwork. I said, "That's the tunnel I saw." He goes, "That's my creation." So it was a creation portal, and I saw it was like a rip in the universe, and I was back. And then when I looked around, I saw these two in our reality. I saw two. Just good old boys trying to help pull away the car from the tree. But then around, I saw like 300 spirit people. And some we were right in front of a firehouse. And some of the people there that were old, they had old fireman outfits on. And they were just concerned, standing around. And then one lady a spirit woman put her head in the car. And she said that that her mother knew my grandmother, just like you would think. Hey, my mom knows your grandmother. They were friends. She used to shop at her jewelry store. And then I heard
this is all this is in the spirit world, right?
Yeah. And they were like talking just like me and you. And she had a little cute hat on. She was like very friendly, because I don't talk to any weird, spirit darker around. I only talk to the high level ones. And so, because there are different, different levels, and I only talked to the high vibration ones, but she was very friendly. And they were all kind of whispering, saying she's the one who's going to carry our voice. She's the one. Well, I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't know what that was. But so when I came back, I was full on communicating, seeing them all the time, including even in my bedroom. I would see dark ones. I would see what you would call a demon, and they would crawl on my walls when I would read the Bible. They would get pissed. And now I know why, because they knew I was on Team God, and they were trying to shut me down, but it didn't work. Sorry, it didn't work. But I could see into different realms.
Let me stop you there. What happened when you come back to reality, and how do you talk about this to your parents? Did you do it or didn't you? Because I didn't. What about you? How are you able to decipher what was happening?
Same as you. What happened was, when I came back, I might have slipped about a couple people coming in, but they thought I was young, imaginary friends, loco. They just kind of wrote it off. And then when I would say things that I shouldn't know, I would see their face and then as time went on, I would say things just innocently that frightened them. So I knew very early not to say anything. I knew that I didn't know what this was, but the fact is we're just spiritual beings, but I had no one to explain anything. I didn't really come from a family like that. I do think in the background, my grandmother was trying to protect me. I think that she had abilities like me, and she could see that in me, and she knew, but the rest of my family, no. Mm-mm. And then when I was, so that was 4, and I was talking to them. It started, I can't really remember not talking to them, but I guess if I had to pick a date, it was when I was 3. And then at 5 is when she ended up marrying the guy. He adopted me. So he was my stepfather. And we moved, it was like 2.5, 3 hours away. So now the safety of my grandparents were removed from me. And now I'm with the sexual predator because he sexually molested me. But I didn't have a word to tell someone because I didn't know what that was. I didn't understand. And so I would tell my mom, I don't want to be alone with him. I don't like him, or things like this. And she didn't, I don't know, she didn't catch on. So, or maybe she did catch on and she just didn't want to go back to her old life. And so I would pray a lot, and I started praying I knew grandmother told me about Jesus and I'd already seen him. So I would talk to him, which I still do. And I said, can you just, and it wasn't malicious. You have to understand, it wasn't malicious. I just wanted it to stop. I said, can you kill him? I didn't mean it like ugly. I just meant, can you make it stop? Can you kill him? And then I wasn't trying to be mean. And then I realized, okay, well, if that's bad, I don't really care. You can just take me. I don't really care which one. I can't do this. So God does hear everything. And so I got one day, I got really sick with strep throat, and the abuse, I couldn't stand it anymore. It was awful. I would try to lock myself in the closet. That didn't work. I mean, this is a bigger person than you. I could, it was just awful. So, and I really had no one to talk to or to turn to. And unfortunately, this is common, unfortunately, with people. It really is sad. So I talked to God a lot, and I got pneumonia, and I got very sick. And I remember everything. I remember my living room, what was on TV, the whole bit. And so basically my fever, to shorten this, got up to, it was 103.9. We lived in an apartment, and my mom said, we got to take her to the hospital. And my stepdad said, no, we don't have the money, which my grandparents had a lot of money. They would have covered it, but he was just being difficult. And so mom was trying, she called the emergency room. They eventually said, put me in a tub of ice, which I do remember that tub of ice. It's awful. When you're running a high fever and you're freezing, you do not, when you're freezing, think about it. You're running out the flu. You don't want to be in a tub of ice. And that was awful. That was almost worse than the NDE, the tub of ice. And so she tried to feed me. I couldn't eat because my lungs were filling up with water. And so she put me in the bed, and she checked a few minutes later, and I was so deathly sick. I could not call out to her. The sick. I mean, I couldn't talk because I was so sick, and I'm totally drenched. And she finally says, well, we're taking her. And it was the night Martin Luther King was assassinated. And I lived in the South, in Raleigh, at the time, Raleigh, North Carolina. It was Cary, but Raleigh, North Carolina. And so they had martial law. And so at this point, it's after 10 o'clock, you were not supposed to leave or you would be arrested. So they had all these military out, and we had to stop at the barricades. And I was on the way to the hospital, which was quite a distance away. I could see I popped out of my body, and I died on the way. And I mean, I wasn't just out. I mean, I died. I was really indifferent about it because I was slowly slipping away all along, and I could see the fires. I could see the riots. And then as we came up to the military blocks, I would go back close to listen what was going on. And they said, we've got to get, my daughter to the hospital, and they called ahead. And when we got there, I was watching everything from up. A team of people rushed out to get me. And when they put me in the hospital, I watched them pump out goop out of my lungs, but then I would get bored and I would zoom through the hospital, and I talked to spirit people that were passing. I go, hey, I think the reason I talk to spirit people is just because I just love people. I can't stop. whether they have a body or not, I just want to talk to them. So I was dead on arrival, 15 minutes, code blue. And I remember the conversation. There was 2 male doctors. They had some female nurses, and they were saying one of the doctors said, I have a daughter that age. And they lost me quite a few times, but they lost me at one point, and they couldn't get me back. And the nurses were crying. That's pretty bad. And so they put a sheet over me. And that's actually a new memory, because it's like very upsetting to talk about. I was dead almost 2 hours. And so they eventually,
Clinically dead. I mean,
yeah,
there was no heartbeat. There was nothing.
No, they put the sheet on me. They were they put the sheet on me to take me.
I mean,
I was dead.
Really dead. Okay.
Yeah, and they would go back to. They told my mom. They said while they were working on me, because I'd come back and then they were pumping stuff out. They were trying to get they would lose me and then get the pulse back. But my lungs collapsed, and they would go back to my mom, and I saw her crying and saw all of that. From spirit form, I could see I was all over the hospital. I was really actually not upset by this at all. And the doctor told her, he said, we're trying to get her vitals back. She goes, okay. Like she didn't get it. They're like, that she didn't get it. So they didn't really explain it. So they're working on me, and they were so upset. They let me sit in the room for a while, but then I started back up, and they got a shallow breath. They put me in this plastic tent, and I was in there 3 days. And those 3 days I spent it with Jesus in heaven. And what happened is that I was zooming around the hospital. I even saw a little girl that could see me. I was really kind of having a blast. I was free. And I would go back and check on my body. I became very disinterested. And then when I went back into the room, I saw a Catholic priest and nun, which even though I wasn't raised Catholic, I knew what that was. They had a rosary. And the woman said, she had a habit on. She said, blessed are the innocent. And they were praying over me, but they were spirit people. So, man, people take their jobs so seriously because they were spirit people. Come to find out, really just a few years ago, that used to be the site of a Catholic hospital. Is that cool or what?
Okay. Wow, that's cool.
Isn't that neat? And so there were spirit people there ministering over me. And then I look to the next thing you know, I'm not in the room anymore. And I look down, I'm in this field, and I look down. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
And this man was holding my hand, and he was smiling so beautifully. And it was Jesus, like 100%. Like there's no doubt. I mean, it was totally him.
You know it.
And, I mean, there was absolutely no doubt. It was like, wow. And I said, you're that man I always talk to. And he started laughing. And he said, yes. And
wow, Tamara.
And he said, you have to go back. And I know he said, I have something for you. And I said, a toy? I mean, I'm 5 years old. And he goes, no. And he laughed again. And he took off a part of his rope belt and he wrapped it around my left wrist. And he said, it's like he was giving me a friendship bracelet almost. And he said, much is given and much shall give. Through the big things, the small things would be done. And through the small things, the big things would be acknowledged. And wow. He told me he wanted to help bring heaven on earth and some other stuff. And I said, no, that seems like a lot of work. He thought that was funny.
So you were denying.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a lot of work. I don't know about this. Like I argued with him, and he thought that was funny.
And you were arguing with Jesus. Wow.
Well, it wasn't mean. I wasn't mean about it. I just said, no, that's a lot of work. I can't do that. That's too much. I can't do that. He said, there'll be other people helping. I'm like, I don't know. And he said, you have to go back. I said, I don't want to. And there were kids playing in the field. I said, they're here. So why can't I be here? Do you see? My husband's like, of course you argued with Jesus.
That's what I'm telling you. Wow.
And so he said, well, let's walk for a while. I said, okay. So we walked in the field. And as he walked, you could see every blade of grass follow his footsteps, and every petal of every flower had life, and they were like all praising his name. The clouds were following him. The trees were following him. As a matter of fact, I thought, does he know all of these things are following him as he walks? And so we sat on a rock in front of this beautiful tree, which I believe to be the tree of life, because he said, we don't eat
Yeah.
from this tree. It's a very wise tree. And he said that we don't eat from it. And it looked like cherry blossoms with red grapes on it. And I was not thinking about that, but I was like, okay. And I got to ask him everything. And he began to talk about how we, and he said it more in children terms, but it was all telepathy. He said, we create things with our minds. So we must be very careful what we think because we're creating it. And he said, we do this in heaven, but it's done instantly in heaven. On earth, it takes a long time. So you've got to, keep these positive thoughts for it to happen. And he said, but it's instant in heaven. I said, really? Like how? And I said, let me try. So I visualized as being in a little boat, and we were in a little boat, and we were in a pond, and we were in this tiny little boat, and these 3 fish came up, and he picked one up in his hand, and he talked to it, and he said, like, hey, talk to it, and he put it back down. He said, this is how we fish here. And so he said that he went through and explained a lot of principles. He said that it's about love, and that I was supposed to go back and show my mom how to love. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. He said, you have more love in you than she does for herself. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that. And he said, there's no right way or wrong way how to show love. But what I didn't realize till honestly quite recently, that I was supposed to love my mom despite she knew about my abuse, despite it all. I didn't know that was the challenge. If I knew, I might have told him no. So
Of course, and I'm gonna stop you right there. That's something I was gonna ask you about the love. So before you go on with this, could you feel his love in there? Tell us a little bit about that. How did Tamara feel with walking with him, arguing with him, learning from him? And there must be a lot of what did you feel while you were doing that? Because to come back and be able to love in spite of what you were going through, you must have had a lot of love, being received a lot of love while you were doing that with Jesus. Tell me, what about the love in there?
It's, I didn't know that was the task at hand. But look,
Mhm.
and I will answer that, but it's like all of us, there are some, look, everybody alive, at least one person that's very, very difficult, or that's not truthful with you, or that throws you under the bus, or whatever it may be. And we ultimately we're supposed to find a way to be better than that and to love anyway and not hold resentment. Being in his presence, there is a completeness you will never feel anywhere else. It is some good stuff. Okay.
And let
First
me
of
tell you,
all,
I'm
I'm feeling
feeling it
him right
now.
now. Do you feel
I'm
him here
feeling it.
now?
Well, yeah, I'm feeling it.
Oh
That's
my
why I'm
God.
asking you, because I'm feeling that love, and you're not even talking about it precisely.
Oh
And
no,
I'm
he's
feeling it.
here.
That's why I decided to ask,
He's
because I'm
here.
definitely feeling
Do
it.
you
Yeah.
feel it? It's
Yes, I
good.
do.
So
It's
you can bring
amazing.
that here. I love that. I love doing that. When he started coming out and channeling with readings, he did that at the IANDS, the International Association of Near-Death Studies. He did that a few years ago. And I told the lady, her husband came through, and beautiful message, and her son. I said, Jesus is here. And she looked at me like, yeah, right. And then I just stood there for a while, and she started crying. I said, I told you he's here. But it's
I'm
just that
really feeling
quick.
it. Just while you're talking, you're just letting this flow, and I'm definitely feeling it. So, of course, he's here.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, it
So this is the
is
first
a
time you met
completeness.
with Jesus. This is the first time, or this, yeah,
This is the second time.
the
The
second
others
time,
were
yeah.
angels, okay? And the people may say, why? Well, I went
Oh yes,
further,
it's the
right?
second
I was
time.
dead 2 hours. I mean, I first was dead on arrival 15. I kept coming back and forth, and it was very upsetting. I actually saw that recently. They put the sheet over me. It was very upsetting to see this, but it all worked out. I went further. Okay. So I spent more time with him. Now, some people could say, were you on orb? Were you whatever? I can tell you where I was. I don't know how this happened, but it was as real as here. It looked as real as here. I felt like I could breathe, but there was no pain. I felt like it felt like here, just, I mean, but better. But his love was like everyone that's ever loved you put together in a room, and it's your birthday celebrating, as nothing compared. I didn't want anything. I wanted for nothing. I just wanted to be right there with him. It's really indescribable. So
I know.
it is really good
But
stuff.
of course,
It's
and of course,
supernatural.
you don't want to come back. Of course, after that, I mean, if it were because of you or because of me, we wouldn't be here
I
at
mean,
that moment. But there was
right.
a reason we had to come back. There
I
was a
wasn't
reason.
given a choice. I mean, some people go, I had a choice. I didn't have a choice.
No, neither did I.
I didn't have a choice. Here I am. But I will say this, it is a supernatural love. There is nothing that compares to it. It feels like I'm complete. I'm at home by his presence. And I will tell you that he's kind of a big shot there. So some people say that he's an ascended master. Obviously, he's a master teacher. But honestly, he was pretty much so top dog, just going to say. He was the important person there. You can fill in the blanks, but I personally believe he's the Messiah, but he's a pretty big deal. So I told him I couldn't come back and do this world. I said, I can't do it. And he told me at that time, he said, Bill, I have someone for you. I have someone for you. And I'm like, means nothing to me. I'm 5 years old. I'm still playing with Barbies. I have no idea what you're talking about. But now I know that
You did have someone special.
He brought my husband to me, and I know this. Too much synchronicity, too much stuff. And he was who I would pray at night for, one person that would love me, for me, and support me. And my husband's like a guardian angel. He just wants to support me and whatever I do. But I met him at 19, and you think, wow, that's young. Not really, because I wasn't old enough to be damaged, like a damaged puppy that's been abused. I was still young enough, and my husband's love was so great, and he was so kind and gentle. And so it was him. It was him that he gave me, and it was really an answer to prayer.
How long have you been married with him?
Oh my God, it's going to give away my age, Anna. Come on.
Okay, it's 15,
let's just say we've been together. We've been married 33 years, but we've been together 5 years after that. So I'm in my 50s. So yeah, I've been with him, and I feel very blessed.
It's a blessing to be in your 50s. Don't worry. It's a blessing.
It is.
But most of all, that you have this incredible task together, and you recognize him since 19. I mean, that, and I'm telling you this because, of course, there's a way, and there's beautiful couples like you, and it's something that we have to cherish and to celebrate. So really,
it is.
I celebrate that with you.
And when I met my husband, we were both children, right? And I've been able to see him to grow, and as a man, and see him grow up as a grown up, and he's and to see how we've evolved. Like, we used to parent each other a lot because we didn't have parenting a lot, so we would parent each other, and now we're a little bit more equals. But I really believe he's like my protector. He's always like, he'll just show up at places if he feels like I'm in danger, and he'll just show up. It's amazing. It's great.
That's amazing. Look, here's Pamela, the one that I was telling you, my beautiful nurse that she took care of me. And she just said, because she lost her husband. Now she's married again, happily married, but she lost her husband some years ago. She's got a wonderful book too. And she's really been wanting to meet you. So Pamela, thank you for being here.
Oh, that is so sweet. I'm so happy to meet you, Pamela. I've heard wonderful things. Now, is she also the one that the horse that connected you to the horse people, the horse therapy?
No, she's the one,
different one
that was with me when I got my near-death experience. She took care of me. She saw the change before and after Ana Cecilia. So it was, and she was there when these angels came, and Well, she's a very special friend because
Did
she knows.
did she see any of the things that you saw too?
Not that moment, but she saw them later on, many years later, with her mom. She could
Mm.
see the angels around. She's got a beautiful story too.
Oh wow,
So
we gotta get her. We gotta get her on both our shows, because a lot of people don't. They have these shared near-death experiences where they're in a room with someone they love that's passing and experience things, and that's a very very real thing. So, but
I'm going to ask her see if she can come in. I'll send her the link right now, and let's see if she can do it.
okay.
We'll have her on. Okay.
Wow, we're living. This is live. This is woo live.
Yes, this is live. So
Live.
if
Anything
she
can
wants to
happen.
come,
Woo.
I already sent her the link, so if she
Okay.
can come, we'll wait for her.
Sure.
So
But-
tell me something, Tamara, about this. Was your third near-death experience?
This would really be, I say, so I had the prenatal 3, 4, 5, the fifth one with this
The
one.
fifth one, yes, because I didn't remember the prenatal. Yeah.
And then I had one at 10. It's quick. The one with the Jesus was amazing, and that keeps going on. And I'll talk more about that at the Spiritual Awakening when I'm speaking in December. But that was amazing, and that's still a living thing that I'm getting from him, information. Of course, we all can. If we want to, he would deny no one. But when I was 10, we were on a family vacation. This is just so silly. We were on a family vacation, and I was swimming in the pool. We were at the at the beach, and we were at the hotel. I was swimming in the pool, and I was 10, and there were some teenage boys. They were playing volleyball. So I'm under their feet. I'm kind of looking at them. Oh, boys, and I got caught under their feet, and they didn't know I was there, and I couldn't get up. So I began having another near-death experience.
Oh,
I was like, and I literally went, "You got to be kidding. Like, no." And so I heard this one's totally different. I heard a chorus of angels under the water, and I began to see under the water horizon, it opened up a light, and it was like a multitude of angels, like, whoa, like a whole bunch. And then next thing you know, I'm on the side of the pool, and water's coming out of my mouth, and my mom's standing above me going, "What'd you do now?" So
wow, Tamara. Well, here we have Pam. She came in for a little bit at least, because we have still a lot more to tell us.
Hey,
Pam, how are you, Pam?
Tamara, I am in awe. This is what a beautiful. I just want to cry with your story. It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for everything that you're sharing. It's amazing. I don't have words.
So welcome. And this is why I think a lot of near-death experiencers that have a positive message should have the courage to speak out, like Anna's did. I will say there are some people that have some negative ones, and that's a whole different topic. And I always try to have people that are inspiring and positive, and like you are, Anna, because we need that in this world, and we're all connected to heaven. That's our birthright. We all know each other, by the way, too. We've lived a long time. We all know each other.
Just as Pamela, I can tell you, Tamara, it happened to me the same, that I consider her my sister. And just the same as it happened with me, with you. And Pam, let me tell you about this. Tamara, we started talking, and I felt like if this was a woman, a lady I've known for a long, long time, just as I feel with you. So I know that this is not a coincidence. And before the show, Tamara was telling me, if you have anybody that wants to come in, well, I don't know. I said, I've never done this before, but now you came, and well, you're here, Pam. So it's not a coincidence.
Oh, that's true. Well, here's the thing. If we just surrender, and look, I'm hard-headed. We've already discussed that. I argued with Jesus. So I am hard-headed. He loves everybody. That's proof right there. But I really do try to thy will be done. I really do try. And sometimes I have a plan, but God's got another plan. And I try to listen. You ever had that message, like, go talk to that person? I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, go tell them that. So this is perfect that you're on. So just real quick, I had another one at 28. I had a reaction to a pill because a lot of NDErs are allergic to things. And I was taking something for menstrual migraines and I started dying. And I could not, my motor skills wouldn't work and I couldn't wake up. It was almost like Frankenstein. I just rose out of the bed. I don't know how. I could not talk. I don't know why I couldn't talk. I don't know. And I sat by the TV and I turned it on because I thought if my mind could follow what it was saying, that I would be conscious. And I knew I only had one. So I thought I can't die. I knew I wasn't in a horrible wreck. I could make it. And all the furniture in my living room started turning into white lines. And then I was in the galaxy and I did not know it was male or female. I just knew that I was, which I think is kind of cool. But come to find out later with the Monroe Institute, that's one of the levels where everything turns into white lines. I'm like, really? Someone told me that. Who took stuff there? I didn't know that. And I just knew this isn't good. This can't be good. But it was different than the others because I didn't go as far. But you think, why so many? Why is this? This is what you've had quite a few, Anna. Honestly, I don't think I'm done. Got to be honest. I'm very strong. I'm not actually weak. I'm strong. I'm stronger than most to be being here, right? Like you, I'm strong. It's because I think my soul needs it. And I think none of us, in my opinion, okay, none of us as humans, we're here, we're dead. Okay, it doesn't work like that. We have hiccups along the way, right? So I really don't know anyone that's just here, no problems, they're dead. Do you? No. So people need to know this. So when it happens, they don't freak out, that they relax and they know, oh yeah, and so, I think the worst part at all, a lot of times when you have these things, you have moments where you recall what our true home is. And you have moments of sadness because sometimes the world, people can be so mean. I mean, if you look at what they say on the social media, it's terrible. These things they say that you should never tell another person. When I grew up, I was always told, don't say anything if you don't have anything nice to say.
And let me tell you something about that, Tamara. If it were not because of Pamela and her husband at that time, that I opened myself and told them, I know something happened. And both of them, I mean, he was the doctor, so he was able to go and look at the records and look at them up and see what really happened. Otherwise, I would have just shut myself down because how can you talk about things that nobody can prove? And then you're just crazy. So Pamela was there and she knows that I'm telling the truth about all of this story. And the medical part is so important. So yes, I agree with you. And she also has a lot of experiences about what she saw with little patients that they came back and they try to resuscitate them. And then the little boy said, I don't want to come back. Just let me go. So she went through that too. But Tamara, I want to take advantage of that you're here telling us about your abilities, because I know you've developed a lot of them, and Pam is here, and it would be wonderful if you want, and if you feel it, that you can share some of this with us and with her right now, because there's a lot. I mean, I want to have you in another show because we've just started.
You're amazing.
Oh, I'm so proud of you coming out. I mean, Anna, you were just a bright light. Well, the abilities, again, I was talking to Spirit and so forth, and I actually went to college, to a university 4 years. I actually got a degree in marketing. I owned an ad agency, an advertising agency, 27 years, won awards. I'm a visual designer, copywriter, slogan writer, branding person, all that. This was the thing I did not want to come out, okay? So I would tell people things, but I never really wanted anyone to really know. It's funny that I've come out professionally now as an evidential psychic medium, because people from college have a lady friend, and she goes, oh, I knew you were like that back then. I'm like, you did? I tried to hide it. She goes, no, you didn't do a good job. So it came out after a lot of prayer as an adult, and I've always done really well in my marketing, but it was like one day the Lord just shut it. You know, when it's time for you to go to your next phase, you just shut that down. Nothing I could do. I'm like, what's going on? I'm hard-headed. I'm not seeing the signs. So I go into prayer about 14 years and I get, you need to come out and use your gifts. And I'm like, oh, not those. And so Jesus showed up. Apparently I wasn't understanding what God was saying. So he had to come explain things. And I said, well, I don't want to be seen as a charlatan. He said, so then you won't. He said, it's not about you. It's about helping other people. Of course, he's right. Jesus is always right. And so I went to study. My first thing I said, okay. So I went to study with John Holland in New York at the Omega Institute for a week. And I said, I'll give it a go. If it doesn't work, I'm coming back. Well, out of 65 people, I did one of the best. And people said, my God, you're so good. How long have you been doing it? And I say that now. I hope this doesn't suck. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, today. And so I did stage stuff and I knew that was what I loved. I love doing this on stage. I love having groups of people on stage and doing this and seeing families and they see the connection in this world, the connection on the other side. So I trained 8 years in the British style of evidential mediumship because I figure anything I do, I want to take it seriously, be a professional. With that said, you know, this isn't perfect, but I can tell you how this works. I mean, I do life path stuff. When I do the mediumship, so just to explain things, empathic is when we feel things, when we, you know, feel, oh, they're sad, or some people can't sleep because they feel, you know, all this crazy stuff in the world, right? They can't sleep. Then you've got intuitiveness, psychic, where you sense this world. And then beyond that, then you sense the spirit world. And as you channel, that's when you get into the higher realms, kind of where we hung out, Anna, and our NDE. And then you've got Jesus, you've got, you know, different ones. I don't know, Dalai Lama, whoever wants to come through to you, angels. And so I naturally just kind of go up to the higher levels, but it's not real to most people. So I like the mediumship as a whole, because I would rather somebody's relative tell you what's going on than me. So I can blame it on your grandmother later. I'm like, no, let your grandmother tell you. And it also will be evidential because they'll tell you things that can be evidential. But we all have loved ones. And I'm talking about the spirit. We're spirit people. We just happen to have this vessel at this time. But we all have people around us. So I turn it on like a switch. So Pamela, if you're interested, do you want to know who's around you and any loving messages?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Can you get in the camera a little bit? I just want to see your whole head. Although I won't be looking at you, I'll be talking to them. Thank you. So this is how it usually works. Mainly don't think about it. I zone out when I do this. Is how you're not supposed to think. And I just get what comes in. And sometimes you think this is crazy. So I can't promise you the person that you want will come in. Generally what happens is the first person to come through may not be that important to you, maybe not, but they're bringing the person that is. So it's a door opener. And so I just need a yes, I understand that. If it's no, that's okay. Because that just helps me to figure out who is this. And then once we identify, you know, male, female, once we identify who that is, and you go, oh, I know who it is. Okay. It could be a friend. Okay. Or it could be a patient that you took care of. You'll be surprised who comes through. Just to let you know, thank you. I love you. You were there. I appreciate it. Whatever. It's always a message of love. Sometimes it is a message of forgiveness. Please forgive me. I was, you know, not the best dad or whatever it is. And they're always come in groups. Of course, it takes a while to identify them all, but they always come in groups and they're very supportive. Like I always say, we all have a fan club in heaven. So if you're open to that, I'll go ahead and tell you who I get this around you. Cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Cool.
immediately as we've been sitting here, there's been a man that's been hovering around you. Although as soon as I say that, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of people around you that talk a lot. The women talk a lot. Now, they could be your women too, Anna, so I got to tell them to step back because you got a lot of talkers. So you do, your family likes me, so they need to step. Thank you for helping, because her family is helping out with your family. So I'm going to ask them to step there. Let's go back to this gentleman. So they get excited kind of like, you ever been to like a to pick a puppy out, and they're all so cute and they all rush and they're happy. That's what I'm not saying our families are like puppies, but they're very happy and excited. So I'm hearing here, and I love in the beginning, I'm like, great, spirit Tourette's, just tell me this. I have no idea. So I don't know. Now, this could be you. And so, this could be you. I don't know what they're saying to me. I usually like identify the first person here, but they did Tourette's a minute ago and said a name. I don't know if it's Rodriguez or Reggie or it's an R name they're talking about. And it could even be a last name. Rodriguez. It's like, I want to say Roger in English. I want to say that. And I want to say there's a nickname for that. And I don't know who this person is yet. Let me describe. They like to smoke. They have their hair parted to the side. Maybe a little bit of a tan. He said he's got a stomach. He's talking about a stomach. Now, let me ask him his relation to you. This is really odd. So you're married? You're married?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think it's your in-laws. I do. So go. They still consider you family, but I'm feeling it might be your in-laws. Okay, don't ask me why. I don't know. This is their decision. But do you understand? I don't know if it's a last name or first name, Rodriguez or let me hear it. Rodriguez. I hear it phonetically. Rodriguez. Does that make sense? Would that be a name or a last name?
I'm
You don't know yet? It's okay.
What's your father's last name, Pam?
My father's last name is his first name was Mark Livesey, but he was Rugely.
It was what?
I think one of his last names was Rugely. My
Okay,
father-in-law.
so I have right here what I wrote down. I don't know if you can see it. Let me pull it back. Rodagez. Rodriguez. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay.
Well, it sounds very similar to.
Okay, it sounds similar, but let's see if it's the right guy. Okay. Yeah. So he said he had a little bit of a tummy. He's got a little bit of a tan. Okay, a little bit of a tan, but he's got dark hair to the side. He liked to smoke. He had anxiety. He said, and he liked what he liked, and he knew what he didn't like. He was opinionated. And he was probably not very tall, maybe 5'7" to 5'8" ish. And he was a character. That's what I'm getting. He's kind of a busybody. He's a character, and he didn't like everybody. He liked certain people, and he was very into family. He didn't like to really go outside of that too much. He had a couple people he liked. Do you understand who this person is?
I mean,
because they can't give the message like,
Yes, I mean, it sounds more like my first husband.
Oh my goodness!
That's what I'm feeling.
I mean, that's. I mean, it sounds because the way you're describing him, it sounds so much like my first husband that died when he was in.
And when he was stressed, he would smoke. Okay.
Yes.
So, oh my God, I love how they tell me my business. They're like, you need to tell your husband he needs to lay off the cigarettes. I know he's been stressed lately. He's talking about me. All right. So this is what I feel to be true. Okay. So there is, they never come in alone. They're always coming in as a group. So I feel like, now, would your father-in-law be in the spirit world?
Yes.
Okay. Now
yes.
Well, let me describe him. He's bringing this man with him. There's a man that's taller, and he's a little bit more reserved and a little bit,
yes.
I said classier. He said, hey, watch it.
Yes.
And he's with him. Okay. He's bringing him through. And matter of fact, I don't know if he would have been open to this if he was living, quite honestly, but he is now. So father-in-law, classy, kind of quieter. This other guy that's shorter, you see that as your first husband.
Yes.
Okay, he's very opinionated. He's like, I can't believe you, because he's like telling me stuff like, I can't believe you don't know who it is. Like, he won't be quiet.
Yes.
Do you understand? He's a trip. He talks a lot. So,
Yes.
okay. So he, let me ask him if God knows if he'll tell me. I'm asking him how he passed. I usually don't like talking about that, but I said, he will make it quick and simple because I know it's not our best moment. He said, I didn't listen. So I feel like he passed of, it wasn't such, look, we can either pass fast or slow. I feel like that it was a disease. He said, oh, I was eaten up. So I don't know if it was a cancer. I don't know what was going on there, but he had a disease. He said he's hard-headed. He said he did not listen. He has such a trip. He said that he doesn't have his stomach anymore. And he was talking about when he was a young man, he played football, which to me, I guess, looks like soccer. And he said that he was, because he's showing me kicking the ball. I don't know what he's doing, but he's kicking the ball and wearing shorts. He said he used to have really good legs. Don't you love how they brag on themselves on the other side? My God. Do you understand what he said? He said his legs look really good. He was very muscular.
Yes.
He said, this is how he looks now. He said, I look good. And, what's he saying? What is he talking about? Oh God, he wants to talk about you're remarried. He wants to talk about your new husband. He is funny. I have to tell you, this man is very, very funny. He does have a message for you. What does he want to say? Do you understand this personality so far and what's coming through?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. I don't want you to take it if you don't. Okay, cool. Okay. Because either if it's the right person, it just flows. If it's wrong, we have to find who it is. Okay. He's saying this husband of yours now, he said, well, first of all, who's Enrique? Who's that?
Enrique is my father.
Oh gosh. Okay. He is a busybody. He's got him. Oh my God. He's got him here. Okay. He's talking a lot. Okay. Just thank you. Not your dad. Your family's very classy.
My father and my grandfather.
Okay.
And
all
my
right.
great grandfather.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So he brought them here. So let me say thank you very much.
Okay.
Just stay right there. Let's get this message for Pamela. Wow. He said, yeah, it's surprising. He's being a little romantic right now. He's saying, because, God created romantic love, right? So I can usually tell if someone's been married because, is that kind of love. He's saying, I let you down in a lot of ways. And I let you down before I got sick. And I'm so sorry that I could not be there. And he's saying to help raise our children. He's talking about how raising our children. I couldn't be there. And he said, but I've never stopped loving you. I've never stopped watching your progress. I'm so proud of you. You're very smart.
Oh.
You're smarter than I was. He said, you're a very smart woman. And he thinks you're absolutely beautiful, just like you were. He said, you used to be real skinny when you met. He said, but he likes you like this. And he's very funny. He's a funny man. And he said, that's how I got her. He says, it wasn't just looks. He said, I had a lot of charisma. He wants to talk about this husband that you have. He wants to thank him. He feels bad he let you down. He said that he was not always the best husband because he's saying he wasn't very mature, that he complained a lot. I'm picking with him. I'm like, no, get out of here. Really? I can't believe it. And he's like rolling his eyes. He has very dark eyes. And he's actually very good-hearted. He had a very big heart, and he was very kind. But he wants to tell you he's sorry he could not be there. He loves you still very much, she said, and our children. And he wants to thank your husband for taking care of you and looking out for you. He says, I know he really loves you because he said, I can see his heart, and I know he really loves you. He's a different personality than this man, entirely different. And he's like, I won't take offense by that. He said he was hoping you get someone just like him. He's making a joke again, but he's different. He's taller. He's different. He's just more reserved. He's a different person. And he loves the fact that your husband now brings order and calmness to the house, and he helps you. And he's very easy to be around. and he thanks him so very much, and he loves you. And he said that you've been thinking that here are thoughts. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, they can't help not to because they're in spirit form. And he said you've been very down on yourself lately, and he doesn't like this. My God, this is like a little angel on your shoulder. This husband will never go away. I'm telling you, he's a trip. But he said, you've been down on yourself. And he said, I don't know for what, doesn't matter why, but he said, you wants you to know you look beautiful. You're beautiful inside and out, and you look more beautiful than before. So enough of this. He said, you've been a little down on yourself. You need to stop it. There's too much out there for you to live your life. You need to stop. And he said, we're good. Oh gosh, he's speaking in Spanish. Hold on. Oh, forgive me. Oh no, I'll try.
Colombian Spanish.
See, he said, Dos mío. What is he saying? Dos mío, amore, poco años. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying. I'm trying to hear him phonetically. He said, you're mine. I'll love you always. And I'll be with you forever. He just loves you and supports you. That's kind of what I'm getting saying.
Wow.
That's a beautiful, beautiful.
That is, that's beautiful.
And it makes all the sense. You tell her, but it's absolutely perfect.
It is. It's just like, wow.
He's a card. This guy's funny.
Yes.
He's
Oh my God. This is amazing. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
He's the one that helped me understand I did go through a near-death experience. He's the one. He's the doctor. The husband and Pamela's husband. He's the one that helped me understand what I went through.
No.
Yes.
Well, he's got a very big heart. He jokes around a lot, but quite honestly, he's a very kind person.
Yes.
He does have some more people here. There are more people here. If we have time, you want to see who else is here?
Well, yes. I do have the time. This is a beautiful opportunity. Pam, if you have the time, I have all the time.
Yes, I have the time. Yes.
Tamara.
Wow.
Okay.
So, who is a lady? It sounds like, I want to say Mildred. Mildred, or, okay, hold on. Okay, maybe I said it wrong. What about Madrid? Mildred or Madrid? I wish I could edit what they say. If it doesn't mean anything, we'll keep going because I'm not perfect with this either. Mildred or Madrid? And I think it's still him talking. Is this a memory? Is he talking? He's still here. He didn't want to leave you. Oh my God.
There's a Sybil May. That was my mother. May.
What is it? Millie?
Sybil May.
Well, I should have gotten that because my grandmother, I have her middle name May. No, I feel. Let me just ask. You know, they can talk in complexity, so they can say one thing mean multiple things. And this, okay, first let's start with this. Do you understand a Madrid connection? Either one of you. Like a vacation spot, like Madrid. Either one of you, Madrid, like a vacation spot.
Well, that's Madrid is from Spain.
Yeah. Does anyone understand like a vacation?
My sister lives there.
Okay, so we're with you. Okay, I think we're with you. But let's stop right there. Who's Millie? Who is a Millie? Do you know a Millie?
No.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm here. Then it must be Madrid because that's okay. So let me see what else I get. So he won't Houston. Real quick before we leave, he's going to still hang out. I said you can still be here, but he said I'm going to pass the mic. But you used to name him a nickname, Reggae, some kind of nickname you named him. He's talking.
Gordo. Yes,
what is
Gordo.
It? Gordo.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said he's going to still be here. Of course, he'll always be with you in spirit because he's very supportive. But he's going. He said, "I'm passing the mic." So,
Okay.
let me see here. So there's a man named Enrique, and I think this is a joke. I think it feels like a joke to me, but he's standing beside a donkey. I think it's a joke. It's supposed to be funny. He's sitting beside a donkey, and he said, "We come from meager beginnings." And he said, "It's through our humbleness that we learn to mature into greatness." And this feels like, honestly, as you, Anna, it feels like a great grandfather.
Yes.
And he's very wise. He doesn't talk much. He's very classy. He's very family oriented. He's no nonsense. Like, no, he doesn't like any crazy acting stuff. He's kind of serious. He's a very respectful person. And
Yes, that's my grandfather.
does this make sense so far? And you have a long line of these Enriques.
The thing is that this Madrid now makes sense. You're with me now because we come from that area. My grandparents, my great grandparents, we all
Yeah.
come from that area of Spain.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Remember, Pam, that I said that my grandfather used to say,
Yes.
"Well, we are Spanish from
We're
Spain."
Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah. And he says,
Yes.
don't forget what he's telling me something. He's saying family. He's talking about he loves history, by the way, and he's saying he's talking about
Yes.
conquistadors and Romans in the history, and he said we are from nobility. Do you know this?
That's
That's
Anna's
my-
family.
Is
That's
that
what
both
he
of you?
said. But
Both
that's
of you.
what he said, exactly like that.
Okay, it's both of you. It's both
But
of you.
Anna-
Okay,
No, it's Anna's family. She always
Anna.
said-
My
Okay, you know
family,
this.
She always
Okay.
said
Yes.
that.
Okay, so and I'm asking why are you telling me this? So did you know your great
My
grandfather?
daughter is saying, "My car has a donkey sticker. It's from Madrid." Okay,
Oh,
that's my
bam.
daughter.
All right, Anna Paula. Hey, Anna Paula. I told you how they can talk and say one thing and being like two or three things. I told you it's amazing.
Yeah.
We can't do that. It's amazing. That is freaking cool. Yeah, that just was right
Wow.
there evidence they can
Well,
do that. They
she's-
can mention
But
this.
even
and
though
that.
she's not with us, she's in the chat. She's right
Oh,
here.
that's wonderful.
So, yeah.
She's supporting you. She's so loving and so sweet.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I asked
I love it.
your great grandfather why, and he's like I said, he's self-taught. Who would read.
Oops. Okay. Okay, is it just me or I can't see Tamara? I can hear you, but I can't
I can't
see you.
see her. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yes, we all hear you, but we can't see you. But we're really hearing you. Yes. You can go out and come in with no problem. I'll get you on again. Yes. Okay, so yes, okay. So this for anybody that's listening to this, everything that he said about Pam's family, it's very accurate. What could you say about that, Pam?
It brings me a lot of peace. It was
Yes.
a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message. It's a beautiful
Yes.
message. It's exactly when it comes down to it, it's the love transcends everything.
Yes.
It's just amazing. I mean, I just kind of like, I'm I'm in awe.
You're overwhelmed. Yes.
Yes, it is
Yes.
absolutely the most beautiful message.
Yes. Don't worry, Ana Paula. I know some of the group are saying that they cannot see you. Yeah, we know, but I hope we can. I can hear you. Yeah, there you are, Ben. Okay. Okay. Oops. There we go again.
There you are. Oh, there you're not.
Okay, something's happening here. Tamara, I think we can't hear you anymore. Okay, let's see if she comes back. Something happened there with her. Okay, let's see.
Had two of them. I'm back.
Okay, you're
I
back.
Hey.
see you.
Oh my God. See, this
see
is
you.
live. Anything can happen live.
But you know
Wow.
something, Tamara? I love it because this means something's working out there, spiritually speaking, and there's a reason for everything. So that's a lot of energy around us right now.
Well, it could be that. And not to mention we're a couple of near-death experiencers and electrical things happen, but so wow. And you have let me complete your message, Anna, is don't forget who you are. Don't forget that you're part of our, and he's showing me a tree in the roots. He said you have roots that go deep. And he said, you come from a family of nobility, humility, and kindness, and faith and love. And we need you in this world right now. He says, we need you in this world and we support you. So I love that because so many people don't have roots.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
And it's kind of going back to your tree thing again, in your NDE.
Yes, the tree for me means a lot. Everything around the tree, it means everything. Yes.
And you know what else he's showing me? He's showing me at the base of the root of the tree, how the tree, you can see a tree, right? But for a very large tree to stay anchored, if you looked at, it's got to have very big roots, right? And it's got to go a long way. I have a very big tree, 200 years old. I actually have a few, but the roots are huge and they go deep and they go under the house. We've had to cut them. I mean, because they're deep. But what he says, if you have enough trees, and he said their roots begin to interweave and grow into one another. And he said, but you can't see that. And people have forgotten that they're connected. And and he's kind of mentioning like me, like this connection with me and you. And it's interesting because I have I have to laugh. God's got a plan. I don't understand it all, but like, I've got like a ton of people. I mean, like literally like a lot of people from Venezuela that watch. Why? I don't know. I have tons of Hispanic people. I mean, I'm not Hispanic. Wait a minute. This time. We've been a lot of things, right? Male, female. We have been a lot of things, and we we can jump, and be Russian one time or whatever, and we can jump here, jump there, but we've been many things. So there's also,
I remember, I don't know if that makes any sense, you tell me, but I remember when I was a little girl, and then when I was probably a teenager, the teachers used to tell us, if you could be something in the world, what would you like to be? What would you be? And I said, a tree. I would love to be a tree.
You are a tree.
And I always saw myself as a big tree and watching everything around. But that's something that I always say since I was a little girl.
But you are a tree that stands tall, that firmly has its roots in the ground, that reaches its branches to many. You are that tree. You are the spiritual tree to many.
Wow, Tamara, this has been absolutely awesome. Awesome.
It's been wonderful. And we can do more of this kind of thing. You do you both, I have to say, and I know we can't go into it, but you do have a lot of females around you that show you support, and you both come from a long line of very strong females, I have to say. And they're both
Yes.
talking and they know one another. Because, once you become friends with someone in this world, on the other side, they know this. They know me. They check me out. Do you think that I would be here on your show if your family didn't check me out? No, I'm like,
I
they
know.
do.
No, I absolutely agree,
This is-
Tamara. And I also know, because this is something that I'm just understanding that I have. I can feel perfectly well that I've known you for a long, long
It's the
time.
strangest feeling.
And
I
I
just
just
know
feel so
this.
safe with you, and with, just like Pam, I just feel in a safe place. I feel in a loving place. I don't know. You just bring me peace.
It's
I just
it's the
say,
same thing.
wow.
I cannot, because we're in this reality right now, but I feel the same way, and it's really it's I don't I mean, I know that I'll know, but I've known you some other time. Now, I feel like we were both Hispanic, but not where you were raised. It was somewhere else. So I've been Italian a lot. I've been a lot of things, but the thing we all have, but
I love that.
oh my
Yes, I
God, and
love
you
it
guys,
too. Look,
oh,
someone here is asking us, would love to experience your lady's beautiful gift. Thank you so much for sharing. This is cards. Yeah, she's been here for a long. I mean, she's been here during the show, and also
oh,
Ana Paula has been talking to us, and who else has been here? Also, Jaime Talancon. I was going to mention him at the beginning, but I couldn't. He
it's
lost a
Jamie.
son. Yeah, he lost a
Oh dear
son
God. Oh, I'm
several
so
years ago,
sorry.
and it was a
Wait, don't
difficult
tell
time for
me.
him.
As soon as you said son, he showed up. Does he want to get
Look,
a little message from his son? Not to make this less, because it's very important. It's very sacred.
this
Does
is
he
his son.
does he want to get a quick message? You can just write in the
Well,
chat. If it's
yeah,
up to you, Anna, do we have time? I mean, I don't want to, I mean, this is your
well,
deal.
I do. I don't know if Pam has to go. I mean, at least
No,
we have
no,
at least,
please,
yeah,
please.
okay. He's not here anymore, I don't think, but I know what he went through, but I can
Okay.
just tell him.
Okay. Well, then we can't go too much, but we can, what I'm getting, and maybe it's not the right person, because it really, you need that person here so they can connect, because would they connect through our hearts, right?
Yes.
But I got,
This is him.
let me see. I don't know if it is. I feel like there's a child here, and I don't know who this is because he's not here. But it feels like a drowning, something with water, associated with water with it. So it may not be this person here. I kind of have to have the person,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, get
I
their
know. Don't
permission.
worry. It was,
Their permission. So I
it's
don't know
better.
who's
It's better, yeah.
watching but it's a child that's coming through. I want and I can't really have it till the person's here, but there is someone, it feels like something to do with an accidental drowning. You know what also comes through a lot is miscarriages. They grew up on the other
Okay.
side with our relatives.
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I have a son that I should have had. I had a miscarriage at 35. I mean, I knew it. I never said anything, but I just knew it. He comes through to mediums all the time, and it's like he's a combination. He's tall. He's got chestnut curly hair and brown eyes and dimples, and he's very enthusiastic about things. And he comes through, and he's a combination kind of me and my husband a little bit. But he kind of looks like me and acts like me a little bit, but he's he has aspects of my husband. So, but he's on the other side, and he comes through, and he's with our relatives.
Wow.
So I get to see him one day.
I don't know. Yeah. I want to ask you something, Tamara. I don't know if you can feel things, but Pamela and I have been talking a lot about doing things together.
A
We just
business,
feel
yeah.
we just have to do something. We just know. What do you feel about that? How do you feel? Is it going to be in the spiritual world? Is it going to be, I don't know if you can see any of that, but this is something that both of us have. We know we have it clear, We just know if it's going to be in this world, in another world, or if it's going to be soon or what.
Well, for a lack of a better word, it's not a business per se to make money, okay? But it is like a business type of union. But what I see, it has to do with this. It's the feeling that I get on this. You know, some people will go into a hospital, a nursing center, they'll go into a place, and they might not come back out. I can be honest. Okay. They may not. And so this, to me, it feels like it has to do with um, educating. I say educating is not a very good word. Showing love, and also maybe educating to the fact that these kinds of things, like we live forever, we're spiritual beings, that there's a loving God with no judgment, that we get to see our relatives. And it feels like this kind of an environment, almost like a chaplain, but you're not tied in with necessarily any particular place, but it feels like that the connection that will be made will be Pamela already knows. You're just kind of following along. But I think it's you, Anna. I think you're going to get your minister's license. I did. I mean, I figured I'm talking to Jesus all the time, might as well. And I did, because that way I can go into hospitals if I need to. But let's say this. Let's say, who knows? Maybe not. Who knows when? I don't know. But say in the hospital, you may have several people that are sick or what have you. They need attending to, but they need comfort in a spiritual manner. You have all the qualifications, but then Pamela has the nursing medical training where she would be able to know the places to go into. But I don't see you tied to any particular place. It feels like almost like a chaplain service, but it's this giving comfort to people. But I feel like you walk in there with something. It's just love. I mean, you're offering people love and comfort. Yes. And it's just giving of service. And of course, you know, when you give of service, you get so much more in return. So it feels something like this. So it's not far off from, you are a near-death experiencer. You can speak at this. Pamela has been in the medical thing. She has seen where people have been probably left without being attended to. So it's not like it's a stretch.
It's like we have the authority to talk about and to do.
Yes. I mean, you may need
something. And I really want to tell you this, Tamara, because you've made me see things that I would not, I didn't even want to mention. You've made me, I mean, you've helped me so much, and I really want to thank you.
Oh, gosh.
Because this coming out, it's not only about sharing, but it's about really knowing that this, like you said, I feel very strong, and there's still a lot of things to do. And you have been a wonderful person for me to understand how many things are back there that I didn't even want to tell into my own mind, because it was just like shutting me, like, okay, no, that's too much. And now I'm just like, okay, let it flow.
Well, it's okay. You know, I mean, look, there's nothing that you can say that's too strange for me, quite honestly. Yeah, thank you for saying that. It was funny. We were talking and I'm like a little kid. I'm like, you've had a lot of NDEs, huh? You're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, if you've turned blue a lot, you've had a lot. And you're like, yeah, maybe.
I know.
Right. And you started thinking about it.
And this is something I want to invite everybody that listens to us, because there's things that happen that you don't want to get into them. But when you start, I mean, I've done this in a lot of meditation, because after I talked to you and that you invited me to your show, I remember that night, or the 2 or 3 nights later, I went to meditating, trying to understand what happened that time. And I did. It was just a process for about a half an hour. And it was wonderful to understand that there's a lot of things I've known and I've heard, but you don't have who to talk to. So you just shut them down. But you have helped me to do that. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. And here's the thing. I mean, don't feel bad about it. We in the normal world, whatever that is, we don't always have a platform to be our true self. But the fact that you have this spiritual podcast and that I have my spiritual YouTube thing that, I want people to feel safe. Like we were talking about the UFO thing, and then we're talking about spirits or ghosts. But what I'm noticing is with Ray Hernandez, he came in and talked about it, that he has that, what is it? Consciousness and Contact Research Foundation, is that near-death experiencers, spiritually transformative experiencers, they have UFO experiences, ghost experience, mediumship experiences, all these different things. And so I secretly have been asking some people, have you had a so-and-so? And they're like, yes. How did you know? I've been asking NDErs. They don't talk about it because people don't ask them in interviews. They just want to talk about their NDE.
That's right. I know you've opened my mind, my heart, my spirit to so many things that I don't only feel absolutely grateful, but convinced that there's so much that each one of us, without having a near-death experience, have gone through. We just need to open our hearts and to understand that we live in a spiritual world. We are spirits. We are souls. I mean, there's so much more than just this human life. I mean, this world. And I really believe that all of us, just the fact that you're thinking about someone and that someone calls you, or that you're thinking about someone, then you have a text message or something, that means a lot of communication. We need to open to that.
Yes, more than ever. And that, I have this Jesus Speaks, which people can see for free at the ChristAcademyofLove.com. But the whole message was get connected to source, get connected to, that we can get these messages, that we can, our true state is being intuitive. We are spirit, but in this world it's been stripped away. But we work better when we're connected to each other and to God. It works better. Yes. Especially if it comes in love and no judgment. I mean, I'm so excited to see that you've embraced so much so quickly. I'm like, you're like a little sponge.
Well, you've helped me. I think God sent you into my life for a very big reason. And this is one of them. I feel, honestly, I know maybe a lot of people tell you this, but I feel so honored to have you here with me right now. I really feel, and I really think that we should all value others' lives just like I value yours right now. I really feel honored, blessed, and I do believe that we are together for a reason, sister, because I do know that you're my sister.
Yes, that
so
just feels right. That just feels right. And it's so funny because when I first met you, I liked you right off, but I wouldn't say sister. But when I say that word, that feels so comfortably correct. I feel like we've been through a lot. I see us running away from something, but we stuck together, man. I'll tell you what. And it's a level of trust and love that you carry from your soul memory, from the Akashic records. But I told you I would support you in any way. And I mean that. But you're the tree. You got it going on. Okay. You just need to, let those leaves and the flowers blossom on it. It's all coming together beautifully. And people this is with anyone. If they judge you or don't like it, God bless you. They don't have to be a part of your world. If they don't feel, it's okay. It's okay. Just let them go like the wind, let it blow along. Well, and it's exciting because you are a walking testimony, because Jesus said that you would be healed, and I take him at his word.
Yes, and I feel absolutely healthy. And let me tell you this, and I'm going to share this, even though we were live. I just went to the doctor, 2-3 weeks ago, and he told me like that, I don't believe you are looking as good as you are. It's just amazing.
You look great.
The way you've recovered. So I absolutely feel blessed because of this. And Tamara, I don't want to, well, thank you. We all are. I don't want to keep you longer, but just please give us a message, a last message you would like for us to take, that can help everybody. I know that they're going to want to meet you. They're going to want to get close to you. And I've already given you all your sites, and please look for her. She's got beautiful shows, and just try to get close to her. I'm in her. How do you call it? I forget in English.
Oh,
All
you're
these names.
yeah.
I'm
So
part of your group.
yes, so Anna was on my the Seeking Heaven channel, Seeking Heaven, the Near Death Experience and Other Phenomena channel. Oh, Anna Paula, you're wonderful. Yeah, I know you're. I want to adopt you. I just do. And so
I
I
can
know
share her
you
with
got a
you. It's
mom, but you
okay.
can have more. Okay, you can have an auntie. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
But you support my channel, but you're a love leader, and that means that we can meet spiritually and grow with other people. But and when are we meeting again? We're meeting I guess the 23rd. But there are other authors and other spiritual people, which is awesome because they're at a higher level. I just had another author join. So I was told a long time ago by Jesus, he said, "You're the spiritual teacher of teachers." Not that, and I said, "Well, I don't want to do that. That's too much pressure." And, again, I'm arguing, but that's who's coming on, these love leaders. And they're at that spiritual point where they're ready to really, blossom and take off. But just the fact that you are helping support, the channel, not only with your love and your voice, but also financially, that's just amazing to me. I work I'm like a crazy person. I work like, honestly, when I started the show, I was working 83 hours, 12, 15-hour days every day for about 9 months. And finally I realized I don't want to have a heart attack, and I cut back some. Okay. At least the weekends, I'm like, I gotta have, a day or two off.
I know.
But it's
Tamara, I wouldn't be there if I didn't believe in what you're doing, in your message. I'm very reserved to sign in those things and
yes,
everything.
you are. Well, you can quit anytime, but no,
But I mean, it's not something that I would do if I do not believe in
I
this.
know that.
And I don't only be, I feel like if for me, it's not money, it's love. So I'm just giving you love
I
because I'm
know,
getting
it's
a
just
lot of
so
love.
amazing. It's
And
just
this is a beautiful way to get love and to give love.
I mean, it says that you support me and my message. And well, what I love is that I'm able to help people with their spiritual journey, and I always stay longer with everybody and help them, because then it's a win-win, because then I get to see them develop
So
too.
good.
So you're
So
going
I'm
to
going
do
to
a
be
lot
on
of
the
things.
next one. Believe me, I've been
I know
crazy
you've
with
been
my
super
own thing.
busy and
But
traveling.
please give us a message to all of us. What does the
Okay.
Lord tell you? Just try to uh, channel something that we can all get. And before that, thank you so much for being here. But please give us a last message we could all take.
Okay. First of all,
Thank you.
I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll help you any way I can. And we can do more of this again. If it helps people with closure and
Yes,
readings, we can do that. But if you're okay with it, I'll ask Jesus what he has to say.
please do. Please do.
Okay. Okay. Well, he wants to tell you something, and then it'll kind of ease out from there. Okay. You start.
Okay.
Sorry, he's not. He's not going to leave you out of this. So when you smile, life is exuding from you, and the force of your energy enlightens many. It's your presence and your beingness and your commitment to service and to love that I thank you. You are an inspiration to me, my beloved one. You are so much more than you know. And do you know, I'll tell you a secret, how many lifetimes that you've chosen love and you've chosen me. I love the ones that I can depend on, and that's always been you. You are love, and you exemplify to others how to be that love. For love is the thing that, in the very end, is the only thing that matters. And I say to you, be the love that you were created to be. Live in the moment. The things that don't matter, put it to the side. It's always the things the small memories that we hold dear that are the most precious. Remembering touching your child's hair when it was born and how soft, to the giggles, to running in the field with the one that you love most, to holding the hand of your elderly mother or father. These are the things that we hold dear. And my darling beloved one, I want to thank you because you will be holding the hands of many as you will be the last person they see. And the fact that you just want to give with nothing in return, there will be much given because of this, because you are so loved. And to those that may be listening, be an example of the love that you were set forth here to be. For there's greatness within you, because my Father dwells in each of you. And if you can just remember why you came here, and that is to share the love and be the love in any small or big way that you can. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the contagion of love that would happen on this planet? And that is what's needed right now. That is the remedy to anything. I love each of you unconditionally and always, forever and ever. And if you need me, say my name and I'm instantly there. For my love is beyond mountains, beyond seas, and it's bountiful. I love each of you beyond any measure. Jesus.
Amen. Thank you so much, Tamara.
Yeah, I won't remember this later, so I'll have to look at
No, but I have it on tape, so I will listen to it again. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
God bless you so
Keep
much.
on with what you're doing, and really, thank you very much for accepting this time and invitation to be here.
Oh, absolutely. It
May
was
God
so
bless.
much fun. And I'll help any way I can with this if you want to do readings here or whatever, just to let people
I
know.
would love to. I would love to. We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, we're going to do this, and I'll let everybody know.
Okay. And thank you everybody for
don't
watching.
leave.
Support Anna. Support Anna. Keep watching her show. Send her some love. Take care. Much love to
So
you,
I'll
Anna.
see you in a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.